Boom. I'm Paul Cram. Wanted to chat a little bit today about fragrance and talk a little bit about the fragrance by Zoologist. Squid is the name of the fragrance. For those of you that do not know, Zoologist, they have a whole line of fragrances that are based on animals. And what I think is cool is that they kind of pull on the environment as well as, some of the elements of the animal. With squid in particular, like if you can see the juice here, it is blue. A little bit of a reference to the ink that squids, I think when squids are, what is it, when they are threatened, they release it in the water to get away, something like that. But it also could be in reference to the ocean, to water, to that kind of a concept or an idea. So going to chat a little bit about it. I have some notes here as well that I'm going to refer to. I do think it's interesting that the awards that Squid has garnered in the past couple of years. The Fragrance Foundation awarded it in 2020 the Perfume Extraordinaire of the Year, and it was a finalist in the Art and Olfaction Awards 2020 in the Independent category. The perfumer the perfumer behind Squid is Celine Burrell. The concentration, actually, the perfume concentration on this is 20%. It is worth noting, too, because they base these all on animals, that no animal byproducts are actually used in the creation of these. So, all of that aside, because I'm sure most of the people that are listening are fairly you might be new, but freg heads, I think, are probably kind of familiar with Zoologists. They've been around for a few years doing their thing. But I just kind of want to share my experience with Squid and what I think about it. I really like the bottles, by the way. I think that they're really cool. I think that they're very, they just look good. They look nice. And they're fairly heavy duty. I don't know. I find that sometimes bottles and stuff are not. But what to say about this fragrance? Let's actually. I really do enjoy it. For those of you that don't know, I'm fairly minimal when it comes to the fragrance community as far as how many bottles I actually own. Part of this is because of money, like sometimes they're fairly expensive. And part of this also is because of the fact that I don't always I like excess, but only to a certain extent. And then I'm like, okay, I'm never going to ever use all of this. So, I do try to keep it fairly slim. I think the last time I counted on my shelf of fragrances I own, I want to say it's under 9 bottles, something like that. So, yeah. I know that there are those in the fragrance community that own way a ton, and rock on, you do you. So what I want to say about this fragrance is I really wouldn't wear this in the spring or the summer. It's a little too, there is a really strong sort of incensey note to it. So I think it would be a little bit too cloying and too probably just too much for the spring or the summer. I did jot down from the website, the kind of the notes that they not the notes, but just the descriptors that they have: aquatic, incense, salty, and sweet. Which I think is really hard to translate when you're hearing me talk about this as opposed to experiencing it. For me, when I approach scent, I always enjoy, I order a ton of scent samples, and I've done that over the years just to kind of try different things. Squid is one of them. Obviously, I enjoyed it enough and bought a full bottle. But when I sample scents, I really pay attention to, like, not just that initial spritz, but I also really enjoy, experiencing what it's like as it progresses throughout the day, throughout, several hours later. This is one that does morph. And I mean, it's consistent, but it morphs into something really smoldery and sort of sultry. It kind of starts that way, but I think that there's a lot more at the top of it. My experience with it, which get ready for some adjectives because I love kind of the journeys that scents will bring one on. For me, it reminds me of the ocean, but not like not like these tropical beach oceans. It reminds me way more of like really rugged oceanscapes. Sort of like I spent some time working on a movie in Maine, and in Portland, Maine, right on the water there. I mean, there's not beautiful beaches that are like sand, and that's not the experience. The experience is like there's crashing waves on slate blue rock, and it's usually when I was there it was cooler out, it was cold, so generally bundled up, and just the smells and the experience. You're bundled up and you're warm and it's cozy, but you've got like these brisk splashes of water and it's salty. And I don't know, when I bundle up too, I mean, sometimes it's like, okay, you sweat a little bit, and I don't know. This does a really good job, I think, of capturing that experience because it's a little bit sweet. And I know sometimes musk and sweat, like I think for most people they'll understand what I'm getting at. It's not a gross smell. It's like, okay, there's a little bit of muskiness. It's kind of sweet and salty, and yeah, the perfumer, she did a bang up job. Um, there's also a lot of this kind of underlying incense, which I think for an aquatic, it works really well in this. I think for me, it was surprising because I was like, incense, water, like what? Like, I don't totally understand how these things go together. And then I smell it and I'm like, this makes so much sense. Like, there's this, um, words are failing me almost. Like, there's this, I don't know. The imagery that is running through my head with it is it's like you're in that ship or on a ship and it's wood. And I don't know, maybe the ship goes down. I don't know. There's something about this that smells so watery and wet, yet it's incensey. Like it's like the smoldering wood that you would. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, I think of pirates. I think of water. I think of salty expanses. Um, yeah, yeah. I do really dig too. Like, I'm not sure if I'm close enough to my camera that you can actually see, but I'll pop it up here. Um, the artwork for most of the zoologist bottles and stuff, I think it's really beautiful. Squid, I love, 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 love how they took um, kind of almost like, because obviously the squid has like a sort of a staff and like the wizardry hat. And I think that that's a really interesting reference because there is something in this, and I'm not exactly sure how to describe it. And I think I remember seeing it in the notes too. Like there's something that I don't even know what it means. It's like they're calling it like a solar or something I don't know. um, but there's something in this that seems like, yeah, I could totally picture. Uh, I could totally picture Gandalf from Lord of the Rings walking down like these rugged beaches, and there's incense wafting from who knows what spell that he cast, and the salt and the sweet, and I don't know. It's I really appreciate this fragrance, especially in cooler weather, like in the fall and in the winter. In the fall, especially, just there's something about it, and I think it probably has a lot to do with the incense and that sort of. For me, it feels cozy. It's this wonderfully salty, sweet, cozy incense hug, I guess. um, yeah, yeah. I don't know what else to say about this, but I do like as it progresses and several hours later, not even that long, a few hours later, there it does dry down into like a smoldering incense, and it still maintains um, sort of that bluish incensey tone, I guess. Oh yeah, so that's my experience with this scent. I think it's really nice. I know a lot of people like what's the projection, what's the sillage. Um, I don't feel like this one is super loud. I don't think that it's a loud fragrance by any means, but like most incense fragrances, it definitely, I think if somebody's in your vicinity, I don't know, standing next to you or something, they'll probably smell it. Obviously, if you douse yourself in it, you're probably gonna really shout it out. But yeah. Yeah, I have tried a few other of the zoologist fragrances, and I think they're really nice. For whatever reason, they haven't really quite captured my imagination like Squid has, and yeah, that's why I picked up a bottle of it. I know I keep mentioning it, but I really like the bottle designs. I actually store this on my bookshelf, and it looks really sort of regal, and I think that that's what they were going for. Um, Anyhow, I hope that you enjoyed this. I did. I really love talking about fragrances and sticking my nose in them. Yeah. If you have smelled squid, I would be curious. Comment. Let me know what you think of it. Um, and yeah, thanks so much. I hope to talk with you all soon. I really do appreciate the feedback. I've been getting some really wonderful comments and support from people just commenting and letting me know that they like the chat about fragrances and it's a really welcoming community so far. So I really appreciate that. All right, everybody. I'm sure that I'll be talking to you soon. Thank you.